Hi, this is Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am wrapping up September, and that includes Tome Infinity and Beyond, because time got away from me. And it is what it is, right? Let me start with Tome Infinity and Beyond, because that is seriously overdue. I really enjoyed this readathon. I did not participate in any of the Twitter sprints or anything like that, because when everyone else was reading, I was busy. So I couldn't do that. But I am looking forward to the month-long readathon that she's going to come up with next. So to get off planet Earth, I forget which ship it was, but it was the one for read a book over 500 pages, and I read Obsidium by Amy Kaufman and J. Kristoff. This is the third and final book in the Illuminae files. This is a finished trilogy. I really enjoyed this trilogy a lot, a real lot. Let me just say, I will never look at anyone named Aiden the same way again. So this final book brings all the other couples, pairs together, the other two, and then introduces some new people who do not get quite as much airtime because we're so busy fangirling over all of the other couples, but that's okay, and they are gonna, you know, take down this organization, I guess. And I think it was a great ending to the series. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This was one of those that I just binge read. Like, everyone needed to take care of themselves that day because I was going to read this book. I will say I wish I had more marathoned this series because it did take me a really long time to figure out and remember what was going on from the previous books. So some of that may have been lost with me. But overall, I'm happy. So that landed me on Neptune, and there I stayed. Because, you know, it happened. I read 2 other books during that week, and they were both, like, Neptune-based. I kind of didn't go off, and I didn't read 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. But I did read Empress of a Thousand Skies by Rhoda Belleza and Blood of a Thousand Stars by her. So this is a duology, and you can see why I didn't want to split them up, because I was like, let's read these books. This is actually a first work by this author, and it was just kind of meh. I hate to say that. So this was, and I can't believe I'm going to say this because big giant books are not my thing. This was too rushed. The story was intriguing and fascinating, and I wanted more. I wanted more from it. I wanted more world building. This is a very interesting, like, this is all the planets, and they're all different and all interesting, and they all have their own cultures, and you know, it was like so epic, and yet this is it. And there's I mean, it's big words. You know, so I just really wanted more. And so, I mean, I ended up giving it 3 stars because the story was just so much fun. It's told from multiple point of views. One is this princess who everyone knows still exists in this world, but has been kind of protected and sheltered on a separate planet than her home planet, on a neutral territory, until she becomes 16 so that she can be coronated and be the next Empress. Her family were killed on a ship explosion that was obviously on purpose. The government has been run by a regent, and so it is definitely political in nature. It is also very, like, inclusive in nature, so if that's your thing, all of these people are very of different ethnic backgrounds, so a lot of people will like that. The intriguing part of it is that everyone has a cube in their neck and can look up information. It's like having the internet in your neck at all times, and it does touch on privacy issues and things that are very modern for our day, although in a completely different galaxy and setting. So like I said, this was very epic, and I do actually like books that move. I don't like to get stuck, but I just wanted so much more from this. I'm probably not explaining this well at all, but I just wanted so much more because I couldn't remember, okay, well now they're back on this, have we been to this planet? I can't remember. Okay, yeah, oh yeah, I guess we were on this planet. All right. I also really appreciated that there really isn't a lot of love story. There's like a touch of one, but it's definitely secondary to the main plot. So 3 stars, and that's kind of being generous. So it was kind of a bummer, but I'm on Neptune and I'm happy there. Apparently it's cold and windy, and I'm good with that. So we'll see what ends up happening with her next readathon in January. Other books that I read in September. I read 2 more books in the Pink Carnation series, The Garden Intrigue and The Passion of the Purple Plumeria, which I don't have. I had it at one point. I have no idea where this book went. No clue, so I had to grab it from the library. Again, I've been talking about these books every month for a lot of months now, and you know, I mean, by the time you get to the 9th book in a series, obviously, you know, you like the series, it is what it is. This one was not my favorite. I don't really remember why, and I didn't make a notation on my Goodreads as to why I only gave it 3 stars. But I mean, obviously it wasn't memorable for me. So yeah, I don't know. Meh. The Passion of the Purple Plumeria was very interesting. That's the cover. This one was very interesting because it featured an older romantic couple. And we've met both of these people before, and you have like notions of how they both are, and it's just so much fun. And it is fun to read about people in their 40s and 50s finding their true love. So this one I really, really enjoyed. And if you like books that feature older couples, you might like this, but you probably wouldn't want to read the 10th book in a series. Just saying. I also grabbed One Snowy Night by Jill Shalvis. It's a short story in her Heartbreaker Bay series, which I don't think I've actually started, but for some reason I was feeling like snow and stranded. I love those tropes. This was a short story and it was a lot of fun, nothing earth-shattering. It's a 3-star read. Oh, and there's a cute dog in it too, so you know. If you like these sort of romances, I love Jill Shalvis generally. She's great. I mean, this didn't reinvent the wheel, but it ticked the spot that was needed ticking at that moment. Multi-generational homes are the way to go. So I'm just gonna keep going because, yeah. I read a nonfiction, There's No Such Thing as Bad Weather, A Scandinavian Mom's Secrets for Raising Healthy, Resilient, and Confident Kids, by Linda Ixen McGurk. I'm sure I didn't say her Swedish name correctly. And this is, you know, it's a parenting book, but it's kind of interesting to read about how different cultures do things, and you know, pick and choose and see what things I think are good and things that are bad. And she lives in the United States. She's at this point, and she talks a lot about how kind of judged she's been by American parents and some of the mistakes that she's made and other people have made when they've come to the United States, even for just visiting from some of these Scandinavian countries where they do more of the free the children. It's definitely a more free child place than where we are, where the kids can't leave the home. So I have lots of opinions. I really enjoyed it. If you enjoy parenting books and like just kind of cultural things, there's lots of things I agree with, but implementing them in the United States would not happen. I gave it 4 stars because I truly just enjoyed the crap out of it. I also read Bonfire by Kristen Ritter. This is a mystery thriller sort of novel, and it follows Abby, who had left town and her alcoholic father and all of that, gone to the big city, and is an environmental lawyer, and she and a crew have to go back to her hometown and investigate some claims of people getting sick. And it ends up being so much more than that. And I mean, she just devolves, and this reads very well. It reads very much like it could be a movie. I mean, Kristen Ritter is an actress, so you can see why she would possibly write in a way that it would be like that. But she ends up having to take on a big corporation and learning a lot of things about her small town, and maybe making some peace, maybe. But this goes places I didn't expect, and I don't want to give a lot away because, you know, it is a mystery and a thriller, but I gave it 4 stars. I highly enjoyed this. I listened to on audiobook The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I really enjoyed another series I had read by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. She writes young adult, contemporary sort of, but not contemporary romance, but she writes in the contemporary time. This is blurbed as being like Criminal Minds for the YA world. Don't really like Criminal Minds, but I was still intrigued, and I really, really like this book, which is good because I have all the rest of the series as well. This follows Cassie, and she has a natural talent for reading people. And the FBI comes and takes her to a boarding school, which of course, like, boarding school things are also like, hello, love that stuff. And she moves in with, I think it was 3 other teenagers at this exclusive little place where the FBI teaches them to hone their talents. They all have, well, there's one other who can do the same thing as her, and then there's 2 or 3 others that have some other different, very interesting talents. And then someone tries to kill her, and they have to try to find the killer. It's very interesting because there's parts of it, you know, that are in between you. And it's like, you know, you look at the body and feel a rush of anger, and you do this and you do that, and it's kind of creepy. I enjoyed this. The only thing I didn't enjoy was the potential love triangle, which I am kind of over, but I can overlook it because I really do enjoy her books, and I'm kind of interested to see where it goes from here. And this one's an interesting one. So I listened to the audiobook, The Bookshop on the Corner by Jenny Colgan. I had this book on my bookshelf. A couple of years ago I picked it up, and it has such a slow-moving beginning that I couldn't get into it. But it's right up my alley. So I was like, what is wrong with this? So I listened to it. Okay, the narrator on this book is absolutely phenomenal. I loved this book, and a lot of it was for the narrator, who did the accents perfect. It was just so great. It is narrated by Lucy Price Lewis. And this book just came to life in my head in a way that I never anticipated. It was so good. I do want you to know, though, Bookshop on the Corner is the US name and absolutely makes no sense as far as this book goes, because it's not a bookshop. It's like on a corner. She buys a bus when she gets fired from her job and puts books inside the bus and drives around Scotland selling books. So it is so not that. But I have the UK one. Part of the reason why I was like, really, I need to read this book, because I got it from Book Depository, and it's like pretty and stuff, and I need to read it. In the UK, it is The Little Shop of Happily Ever After, which is the title of her book van, and actually makes sense. I'm not sure why they changed the title, but yeah. And this is, you know, women's fiction. There is some love story in this as well, but it is just a heartwarming sort of novel of finding yourself and coming out of your box and trying new things. And again, I cannot recommend the audiobook enough. It was so good. Then I was starting to get toward the end of the month, you know, where I lost track of a week somewhere, and I read a couple of quick romance novels because I knew Victober was coming and I didn't want to be stuck in the middle of some book. So I was like, all right, let me just read while I was getting better. And you know, some days were good, some days I was feeling fine, and some days I was not. So it was good. Off my Kindle, I read Leave Me Breathless by Sherry Lynn. And yes, this is as hot as it looks. Let's just put it that way. I read the second book in this Ross Siblings series a while ago, and like I also reread it, so I might as well just show you. Rock Me. Let's put that out there. So this is where I don't know where the line is between just like some seriously hot romance and erotica. This is hitting like a fine line here between it. So I just want you to know straight up, there is sex in it. There is a lot of sex, okay? A lot of it. But there is also complicated plot lines and excellent storytelling in this. And I guess not all erotica is just sex all the time. But so I don't really know. But there's also a lot of story and a lot of not sex. But they are very explicit. I will put that out there. So if you don't like explicit books, do not go here. But if this is actually termed erotica, then I would say she does erotica that I enjoy. I really, really, really enjoy these books. I enjoy the emotional roller coasters that are going on here. There's just enough angst. It is all about the bad boys. They are all tattooed, but they're not bad. Because I like that. I just like that. Anyway, these are good if you're interested in that sort of thing. And I also read a couple of, I just went to the library and just said, hey, what do we have here that's quick and easy? And now I can't find what the titles of the books are, but I read 3 Harlequin novels. And they were all 3 stars, so it wasn't like, you know, I wouldn't recommend them to you as like, oh my god, these are great. But I read a couple of tropey books with some tropes that I like. And, you know, Marriage of Convenience, I think one was. Yeah, sorry, that's a terrible wrap up of those. But I read a couple of Harlequin novels that were okay, but nothing to write home about. And that is September. And it is already October. I have an audiobook going currently, Beasts of Extraordinary Circumstance by Ruth Emmy Lang. I am more than this into it now. I would say about 100 pages into it because it's audiobook, so I kind of keep track of it with the book. It's very interesting, but I've been kind of off audiobooks for the past couple of weeks and I've been listening to more music again, so it might take me a while to finish this one, I guess I'm saying. So that'll be going. I'm also listening to Inkheart with my daughter. And that is also going slowly because we've been listening to music again. So we'll see how this goes with the audiobooks. But because I went through like a phase where all I was listening to were audiobooks. But we'll see what happens. And I am looking forward to talking to you again. Enjoying everyone's wrap-up so far. I've been watching a lot of YouTube lately, so I'm enjoying all your videos. Keep posting your videos, please. I like y'all. You're all great. Have a great month. Bye.